All right, what is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Methos from the channel Frost and Fists, and welcome to the show. Kind of a show. I mean, it's a live stream technically, but it's not going to be our usual kind of show live stream because Brother Freak overworked and out again. So hopefully he is getting the chance to catch up on some rest. And while he does that, your Wolf Brother's going to handle the show, and of course, my signal has not been faithful enough to do my live show in the normal way, showing you guys this beautiful face. But what I can do is I can do another pod style show like we did before when the tech wasn't cooperating. I feel like we still had a great conversation together, and I would love to spend the evening hanging out with you guys. And if I can't show you this guy's face, what I can do is show you guys the orcs that I've painted so far. And interestingly, I'd been working on the showcase video today, and man, I was testing out the live stream stuff and it wasn't cooperating. And what happened is that I was like, man, I need a solution for tonight's live stream. It's not working out. I need to hurry up and finish editing this video. And I'm just like, why not both? So I decided, you know what, maybe I'll be able to showcase my orcs while we do this live stream thing. What do you guys think? First of all, can you guys hear me? Am I coming through nice and clear? And while you guys answer me, I'm going to check on my beautiful people in the chat. We got a running bear who says, hi all. Sweet, sweet. If there's any kind of freaky issues with the sound, let me know. Brother Archer helped me tweak of some of the sound settings earlier from horrendous to hopefully, nice enough to hear on a Friday night right now. Yeah, I hope he gets some good sleep too. IT has been kicking his butt lately. I'm sure he'll tell you guys the entire story whenever he comes back. But basically, the hospital at that he works at lost the whole network, which, as I'm sure you guys can figure, that's a major deal. And the man has been definitely overworked and overstressed trying to make things right. So hopefully that gets better for him soon. Hopefully he gets some rest. Today's his first day of not being on call, and he's probably going to sleep like a sack of bricks, with some well-deserved rest. Just be honest, he took a double shift at Chippendales. You right, I can't lie.
I don't know if you know this, but
What?
we can only see that, and we can only...
That's intentional. They're not supposed to see anything else. Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is just going to be a podcast. There's not going to be any visuals because I can't handle transmitting the images. I'll be choppy and lagging, and we'll go back to the 8-bit days of the Nintendo. But thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
That is actually young Alira. Lily is in another room. All right, so lots of good thoughts for freakaliciousness. I'll make sure to pass on the positive vibes. We got the Commodore and the Phalanx in high orbit. We got Running Bear. Hopefully his phone lasts the show, man. Stay as long as you can. We'd love to have you around, but if you can't make it, you can't make it. It's all gravy. Weatherpig, my man. Good to see you. Man, so Weatherpig has been doing some really cool streams. If you like some video games, you can go check out his Dark Souls plays and Nier plays over on the Twitch, but also on Twitch the other day. It was a casual hangout of Brother Weatherpig editing one of his videos for his YouTube channel. So, of course, it was, war game focused. And, you can see a little sneak peek of what he's got coming up on the YouTubes. And honestly, it was just a really cool and fun casual hangout, while he edited his videos. And he even got some of our feedback while he was making jokes in his videos and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. Actually, I didn't know how much I would enjoy. I didn't expect to enjoy a video editing stream as much as I did. But, Weatherpig's got a good personality to sell it. Sometimes it's not about the steak, it's about the sizzle. Absolutely, absolutely. Feel free to check the Weatherpig out on Twitch as well as YouTube. Oh, and I do get a cameo in there, which is awesome. All right, so full disclosure, I'm about to start my showcase, and it's funny, I got about a 12-minute video segment that can loop, that can showcase my orcs as we chat tonight. They'll be the background pictures once we get started with that. But it is mostly what I have painted so far. I'm going to go ahead and give you the full disclosure. Just a couple of days ago, I put the finishing touches on Gaz. I think I put them, I finally got them to where I'm happy with them, and I'm going to call it done. You guys know where you can start tweaking details on something forever and ever and ever. And your Wolf Brother has a really bad habit of just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. I fucked it up. And I will do that. And so I had to tell myself, Methos, you're done with Gaz. You're done. So I had to put it down. And once I sealed it, put that matte varnish on it, my favorite matte varnish. By Treehouse Studios, not sponsored. It just happens to be my favorite. It's a Hobby Lobby brand. And once I put that matte varnish on it, I knew I couldn't do anything other than walk away. Because you guys know what happens. You put too many layers of varnish on something and it starts to frost over on you. So that was definitely my, you're done, step away from it. And I'm really happy with the way he came out. The Gaz will not feature in this showcase. I feel like Gaz deserves his own show. Also not featured tonight will be my commandos that I've been talking so much about from Spellcrow. Just because that particular unit is a third-party unit, I figure I can do a little review of what I think of Spellcrow third-party miniatures and show you guys the showcase of what it looks like if you paint your Spellcrow commandos up. So those will be some upcoming Orktober videos. So that I'm looking forward to those because I'm really pleased. Going into this, I had no idea what I was going to do with the Orks. In fact, I tried 2 different skin tones before I settled on this one. 3. I tried the GW classic recipe of Wog Flash and then Warboss Green. I tried that twice, didn't like it. I tried a method that I felt like would need more practice, and wasn't going to get where I was happy with it. Plus, I wanted something I could airbrush. And the video I haven't started. This is just background, a background picture for the moment. That's why you can't see the video. I think I may have mentioned earlier my connection is not good enough. Holy crap! I just dropped to 0 viewers. Oh man! Hopefully it's not going to die on me. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the video, or my signal, my connection tonight. We tried a podcast earlier. It wasn't strong enough to be able to show my video and run the audio at the same time. So we're just doing podcast style with pictures in the background. We're starting with this one, and then here in a little bit, I'm going to start showing the orc pictures of my actual army. But I just want to get some of these thoughts out before I start showing off the army. So I tried the Warboss and the Wog Green or Wog Flesh or whatever, and the Warboss Green. I didn't like those. Thank you, man. Thank you. I tried a method from one of Spud's tutorials, and Spud is a great teacher. Spud has amazing looking orcs. I couldn't get them to come out with my particular skill set in a way that I was happy with. I love Spud's orcs. Spud's orcs are amazing. You guys can see right, when I start the showcase, you'll be able to see the Chilling Network logo, because we are big fans of the Chilling Wargamers and all of the channels under the Chilling Network banner. I really love Wargamers Spud's orcs, but I could not replicate it in a way I was happy with. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, part of what I don't like is this really dark tone of the Goths, and how the skin looks with it. And so I decided that for such a dark tone for my Goths, I wanted a really bright, popping skin color, so that way there would be good contrast. So I'm going to start the showcase, guys, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's continue to keep chatting. Don't let the chat drop, but we're going to just look at this stuff in the background while we have a great conversation on a Friday night, fam. All right, here we go, guys. So that is, aside from those couple of things I mentioned, that's the army altogether. We're going to start with 25 boys. And that seems like it feels, and I know those are amateur numbers for most orc players, right? But for me, that's a lot. I don't think I've painted 25 of a troop choice for any of my armies, right? I didn't keep my troop choices low. And the fact that that's not even a full squad yet, that just blows my mind. Now, painting up this many, though, gave me, it let me definitely lay down the scheme I wanted. It let me do a lot of practice on those checker marks on the shoulder pads. And then, of course, I was able to mix some things up. I really got to work out my recipe for my rusty metals. I still need to do a tutorial on that. But I'm really happy with the way those came out. And you'll see the jungle basin changes kind of amongst the boys, the 25 boys, because I changed it up a little bit. You know, I really liked him at first, but replicating that for like 90 boys in the future, you know, it just didn't seem sustainable. So I made them more simplified as it went on. Next, I got my 6 knobs, guys. I really love the heat blade effects on those knobs. I think that's my favorite part of the knobs, for sure. Sweet, he made it. Who took my dice? Helping me do some troubleshooting before the show. Methos, you're a hero. Just saw you helping out a viewer on my Discord. Just giving a little opinions, man. Telling what I would do if I were in that situation, but I appreciate it. They look good, but they look straight out of a comic book. You know, the comic book style is kind of what I've always been about, with my really bright heat blooms, the heat effects on the claws here. I think a comic booky style is kind of what I'm after. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who took my dice loves my knobs. I got to keep my knobs looking nice for the chat, you know, especially since some of you, and you guys know who, some of you are also my customers at Chippendale. So I got to make sure everybody likes my knobs. Now, knobs are very expensive to run as a unit. I really love them, and I wish I could take more of them. But because I don't, I often split them up and use them as, you know, the boss knobs in my boy units, no matter how I break them up, or my commandos. So it still works out handy that I have 6 of them. I only have 4 grots painted up at the moment, and they're all very characterful models from third parties. There's some Foxbox miniature grots there. Really love that one based on Spud there. Mechanic grot. Yep, I love that one. That one's got so much character too. I really love it. The one with the skull head actually is courtesy of the Commodore. So I was putting together one of my grots from Prophecy of the Wolf, and the head, I clipped it off the sprue and it went flying, and I could never find it. And I'm like, man, where do I even get a spare goblin head? Commodore helped me out. He said, hey man, you got any of those skulls from a skull pack? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he said, try that. You know, maybe one of those skull heads will be the right size to give your grot a little skull helmet. And I think it just looks nice and characterful. And I'm getting the white looping circle of death. Is it scream crashy for everybody else?
I'm getting the looping.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Whew. Those squigs. I love the way those squigs came out. Those are one of my favorite things. And for those, actually, it was pretty interesting. I painted those actually a dark purple. Dry brushed them all white. Then went over with a fluoro pink translucent color. And that fluoro pink gave it such bright highlights. And doing it in that way really highlights every single muscle. And I just love the way, and you get that kind of two-tone effect, especially this leaping pose here. You can see in the recesses all the purple hues and shadows, but you can see the highlights of purple. I really love the mixture of doing that. 2 Deathcopters are up next, and I love the way Deathcopters look. Man, I really wish it's lagging and loading a bit. Oof.
Yeah, it's showing your copters, but you're just now going and talking about squigs.
Oh man. I'm gonna give it a second to see if the signal will catch up. This truck is one of the most beautiful rusty pieces of junk I think I've ever painted, and I'm actually so proud of how rusty and what a bucket of bolts it looks like. It looks like a piece of junk, and I'm actually really proud of that. I had to do some converting. It's a secondhand copy, and I didn't have all the bits I needed for it, but I made do, and I think it came out well. I really love the "Come at Me, Bro" pose on my Def Dread here. This is another one that I was really expecting to do better on the battlefield than it did, but it's all right. You know, we'll see if it works out in the future. I'm going to try it in a few more games and see if I can get it to up its performance. I will take a picture of the Vallejo Fluoro Pink and send it to you after the show, Weather Pig, my man. I really love the Vallejo Fluoro colors in general because they are very translucent, and it lets you do some really interesting effects. And also, if you layered it up slowly, especially with an airbrush, you can really just make some things pop and stand out. They're also good to mix in with some other colors. And when you mix them with other colors, like if you mix the fluoro yellow or green into a green, it becomes more vibrant. Oh, she thick. Oh, she thick. Yeah, baby. So the lady orc, my boss lady, was a gift from Big D and Lady Dragon over at the Gamecraft Dragon, and she thick indeed. Very cool, very awesome gift from them. Now, normally, this is going to be kind of funny. I was pressed for time tonight, trying to get this together. Normally, when I do my rotating spinny picks for my showcases, I slow it down massively, and I also zoom in. And I was just really pressed for time tonight, and I didn't have time to do all that. In fact, I barely made the show on time tonight, and so they're just going to be spinning and blazing around. I'm not so sure how well that's translating. I may actually have to just stop and restart it. Yeah, it's having trouble. All right, it is struggling with the spinny bits, so we're just gonna start her over. All right, guys, and that is all the orcs I have so far. So let's close that out. Cool. Oh man. Did you do Gaz? I did do Gaz. Gaz is going to be his own showcase early next week. I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday we'll drop the Gaz showcase. Mostly because I didn't have a chance to throw them together. I literally threw these pictures together and set this up in OBS like right before we went live tonight. But Gaz will definitely be out soon. Gaz, I'm really, really proud of the way Gaz came out. You may have seen a couple of my teaser pics out on the Instagrams. And I'm definitely just really pleased with the final product on that. Funny thing to note, all these rusty metal effects I spent so long perfecting with these other orcs, I did none of that on Gaz because I feel like, you know, Gaz just died and came back, and he's got some weathering on his metals, but it's not like corroded and chunked out and like it's been sitting and not taken care of for a while. You know, his armor seems, you know, it's relatively new and it's being maintained by the mechs and it's weathered. It's just not as heavily weathered as all these guys, the weapons of these guys. But it is chipped. I've got dirt in some of the recesses. I've got scratches. I've got like several layers of scratches where you can see some of the scratches with like a gray primer color underneath, but then like there are some that are scratched down to like scraped metal color. There are some that are like metal color with dirt collected in the cracks. Now I made sure to really chip and weather it, but it's chipped and cleaned in a less corroded manner than all of these weapons. I mean, you can take a look at these guys here, and like there's just straight up corrosion and rust eating away at a lot of these weapons. Seeing how careful this Grot came out with the skull head, I'm actually kind of glad I accidentally lost his head, because I think it just added so much character to it. Now it's funny because you see these first bits of my Grots here. I have mostly third party, characterful, very unique Grots, right? Funny thing about that is, on top of doing them, a very diverse, very characterful set of Grots, I've been seeing a lot of people's second edition classic Space Goblin Grots go around, and it made me kind of jealous. So I actually have eBayed, which I found at a steal for like, I think it was $8.99 on eBay for a set of 10 second edition old school Grots. So I'm going to have a bunch of characterful and unique ones, but I'm also going to have some that look exactly the same in a regiment. Yeah, the one with the screwdriver is from Spellcrow. It's one of their mechanic ones, and it's such a cool looking miniature. And actually, there was so much detail on it, it was an honest to goodness pleasure to paint up. Weather Pig had a similar thing where he had lost a Gundam part, and it worked out really well. Very nice. Now, I really, really enjoyed painting up these two Deffkoptas. And I have 3 more. 1 sitting on my shelf, and 2 sitting in the drink, where I'm trying to strip them from a rescue. Now, something I wish they were better in-game, honestly. Because they do a great job camping objectives for me, and that's 90% what I use them for now. But man, it's just they do whether I load them out with the rockets or whatever, they almost never do any damage throughout the whole game. Close combat, shooting off its rockets, whatever, they do almost nothing. Can't wait till you do a 2K battle report with them. They look great on the table as a full army. Thank you very much. So, right now I've got the couple of lists I've been playing around with. It's about 1,500 points mostly painted up. I think the 1,500 points list I was doing also included my Mega Knobs, which are partially painted on my table right now, and 2 mech guns. One is half painted on my table right now, and one I haven't even purchased yet. So, yeah. So if we tweak that, I've got roughly almost 1,500 points painted. So it's coming along, guys. It's coming along. It's actually a lot further along than I thought I would be. Also, some things coming up for the future. I've got a War Boss on bike, which I'm so glad to hear that's coming back as a Forge World entry. But I've also seen where Striking Scorpions, because they already have their War Boss on bike painted up, they run theirs as a Death Killer War Trike sometimes. So I'm going to run it somehow. If I have to run it as a trike, or if the Forge World book comes out and I can run it as a bike, I want to use that at some point in the future just because it looks cool. That Big Mech with the custom force field, that's like actually a jet. His backpack is actually like a jet part from one of the Space Marine flyers with the custom force field on top of it. That was a fun little conversion. And the rest of it is a Black Reach knob. And I'm kit bash that together. And I think the Assault on Black Reach knobs are my favorite knobs, actually. You may have noticed that my Big Mech with the custom force field has an eye patch. And just with the grim look he's got on his face and the eye patch, I've been calling him Mech Fury when I run him in my games with Freak or Atlas lately. So he's not just a big mech, he's Mech Fury. The picture with the orc gawking at how thick she is, that was actually an accident. I was taking pictures for my showcase, and I realized that the one orc boy had a cocked head, like he was just checking her out, like, damn! Bam! So I had to meme it, guys. I had to meme it. Alright, the video seems to keep cutting out anytime I do the spinny around. So we're going to cut that spinny around out and start it over again. Alright, so that's my army, guys. But other than that, guys, I'm just going to leave that playing in the background, guys. We talk about whatever you want to talk about tonight. You know, last week we talked about some of the nerfs and changes for Space Marines. And some of the buffs as well. Lots of changes going around. And I was thinking about, you know, and of course, not that I think any of this is going to happen. This is just my thoughts. But I was like, how do we make orcs better? Because sure, they got a lot of bodies and they can camp on the objectives. I got to really thinking about this the other day. Russ Lupus, good to see you, my man. And I was thinking about this the other day because I was at Big Mech Dan Skull's live stream. And he's got a great live stream, usually on a Tuesday, if you want to check Big Mech out. Friend of the show, and he's been one of our Saturday guests twice now. And he's even offered to come on one of our Friday shows, so that's going to be pretty awesome. But Big Mech was talking during one of his live streams about how he feels like, you know, in the stories, orcs shrug off like tons and tons and tons of firepower, you know, before they go in and smash into Space Marines or Space Marines or Imperial Guardsmen and whatnot. And even though it's like that in the stories, there are tons of you know, SOBs in the stories. Man, we all know you point a gun at an orc boy, and just pointing at him on the tabletop, that those orc boys start disappearing. They just don't have a lot of survivability. Big Mech said he feels like if they got a toughness, you know, 5, that would better articulate the way they're big, beefy beasts in the stories. I thought that would be pretty cool. And for me, one of the biggest problems I wish they fix is that, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen it, you go in with, you know, 30 orc boys, and you're like, I get a ridiculous 120 attacks. But they're all AP 0. And I don't know how many times you guys have seen this. I've been watching steady orc battle reports all month as I celebrate Orktober. And it just seems ridiculous all the time. You know, somebody will go in, I've got 85 attacks. Oh, sweet. All right, I got 2 wounds through. And it's like, wait, what? But it's the AP 0 I feel like that really kills them. You know, and strength 4 is not the greatest. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest. And I'm like, if you could just get a couple more of these special weapons, because it's like, they'll throw 30 boys at, you know, whatever the unit is, but they're really like those, if you listen to the way people talk while they're playing orcs, nobody cares about the attacks from the boys. Okay, they really just want to get the attacks in from their knob because that's where the damage is coming from, and they're right. Because those are the weapons with AP, those are the weapons with sometimes alternate damage, those are the weapons that have the buffs to their strength, right? Those are the ones that are doing the damage. And I don't know about you guys, but I have seen people shrug off, you know, 60 plus AP 0 attacks. And it's like, all right, I'm fine. You know, because you're just sitting there literally waiting for them to roll a 1 in most cases, you know, or 2. And it's often not happening. Anyways, so personally, I just wish if you could let the orcs take a knob with one of their fancy weapons, you know, for every 10 boys, that all of a sudden, to me, would make them so much more worth taking. So much better in combat, a little more survivable. And I think that to me would make them the threat that they're supposed to be. Because then if you take 30 boys, and you get 3 knobs, that's tripling your effectiveness right there. That's just the way I think about it. Because if you think of Space Marines are like for every 5 you get to take a special weapon. Man, if boys could do that for even every 10, I would even say double. Even every 10, take an extra special weapon. That would be so amazing. Anyways, I think that would be one thing that would just really help the boys out. Because I feel like the boys need the help. Been playing around with building characters for my Space Wolves, and I came up with this. What is this? Your brother running bear. So, yep, those are just some thoughts I had, plus some thoughts, like I said, Big Mac Danskell mentioned. And I think that would be pretty cool. If you guys could make any tweaks to the Orks, what would you guys suggest? I would love to see them be a much, much bigger threat, honestly. I mean, even lately, okay, like Tabletop Titans was one I was watching the other day. And they took, I think it was upwards of 120 boys. They were like, so with this new 9th edition, you know, if I camp 120 bodies on the table, that's going to get me a lot of points. And it did not. Like, his opponent had no problem deleting off an entire squad of 30 boys or more. Actually, more. The first turn, it took out almost 2 full squads of 30 boys. So... And he green-tided one, so it was really like 150 bodies plus. It's just crazy that many bodies was just easy for the Ultramarines to pull off. So anyways, it's just having the numbers of a horde doesn't make them as survivable or strong at holding objectives as one might think. Just watching it, just play out. It was quite terrifying. Speaking of that, have you guys thought of any things in your own armies that you wish would be better? Or that has maybe taken a nerf recently? Or has somebody else's buff in one of the new codexes caused you a lot of headache? Because I've seen a lot of that going around both sides. I'd say a lot of people hate on the nerfs to the Space Marine Codex, and as a Space Marine player myself, I'm kind of thankful for some of them because now I feel less bad playing Space Marines against my friends. We're all kind of casuals. And I don't try and pick the most optimal list I can. But it is easier to play them and not feel so bad about it because, they have been semi-nerfed, and when I do go around, and I'm playing Orks for a few more games yet, but when I do get back around to my Scars or my Space Wolves, it's going to be nice not feeling bad for playing Space Marines. We're at the loop-de-loop again, which seems to keep crashing it. All right. That should fix that. When are Space Marines not in a great place? Actually, they just got tabled almost every game in 7th edition. They were bad in 7th edition. And in 8th edition, they were strong with the 2nd Codex drop. But for the entire 1st Codex, they weren't that good. For the boys, you're right. Right now, I am in a very wog place, my brother. I'm not down on that. But I mean, yeah, and of course, it's funny because people only remember what have you done for me lately, right? And so a lot of people are like, I hear that same thing, like, oh yeah, of course they're in a great place, Space Marines. A lot of people forget it was only just not too long ago when I started in the hobby, 7th edition, Space Marines were getting kicked in the balls over and over again. What's funny is that everybody thinks that about Space Marines. I'm going to get on my soapbox for a minute. Everybody remembers that about Space Marines. Nobody even seems to care that, hey, Commodore, we don't need none of that. Nobody seems to care that Eldar was vastly on top for like 10 years in a row. Okay, Space Marines, they spend an edition and a half on top, and everybody's up in arms about OP Space Marines, poster child Space Marines, right? That's like an edition and a half. Eldar on top for 10 years. 10 years. Everybody's like, poor Eldar. And let's not forget, This edition, yes, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Commodore. I'm okay with Tau sitting in the back seat a little bit because since they came out, okay, they may not have been great when they first came out, but starting in 7th edition, when they brought out those really big suits like the Riptides and the Riptide wings and stuff like that, and the Crisis Suit Commander spam, and that moved into 8th edition. For 7th and 8th edition, they were apex predators. Like, I kid you not. The summer that the Riptide wing came out, every single new person that came into our shop bought Tau. Every single new and the way it would go is, I'm thinking about getting to Warhammer. What's an easy list to play? What's the strongest list to play right now? Boom, they'd walk out with a Riptide. Kid you not. And then, I shit you not, Freak will back me up on this. We played at one store. It was a new store that opened up in the Woodlands. And we went in, and they only had 7 tables, and there were 8 Tau armies there. Which means one of those tables was Tau versus Tau. I shit you not. So, spam lists are BS and should be auto lose. You right. It comes down to the number of Marines versus the number of Eldar players. Yeah, that's true. I have to do some things today. Have a great night, guys and girls. Great Army Methos. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you stopping in. I appreciate your kind words on my Orks, man. I'm really, really hyped about the way my Orks look right now. Check out the Hyper Sapien for some great kit reviews. Lots of Ork stuff on there. Also getting into some chaosy stuff for AOS there. Slaves to Darkness. Just check out, his channel. All right, so Running Bear. Talking about his list a little bit. Wolflord on Thunderwolf as a chapter master with the Iron Resolve Warlord trait. Is that the one that gives them plus attacks and whatnot to Dreadnoughts? Or is that a different one? Angel Artifice and Storm Shield and a Power Fist. Has 6 toughness, 9 wounds. Holy crap. With a 1-up to his armor save, 4-up invul pain, and a 6-up feel no pain. Nice. Stacking some buffs there, my man. I was thinking about how I might want to use my Wolflord until the book comes out. I like the one that they get because I usually like to use my Wolflord to smash into vehicles and monsters and stuff like that, take out enemy tanks and stuff like that. But also, like, Imperium Sword was going to be my go-to because, the the reroll charge is nice, and of course getting the extra attack is nice, and isn't it an extra strength too, something like that. But I thought that would be cool. Imperium Sword would be good on it. I think that Wolflords will be tough. Man, that sounds like a pretty boss combination there. And then I kind of want to make some Sky Claws now too, because Chainswords are really nice right now. Blood Claws are really nice. But also, if I take them as Vanguard vets or whatever, that could work out as well. But the thing is that if I put them with a lieutenant or a battle leader with the Chainsword, now that they can take the Space Marine Codex, you can give them either the Relic Blade or the Teeth of Terra, which the Teeth of Terra is freaking amazing, and it just becomes a really awesome beat stick. And I think if you add that to the damage that the Sky Claws are already doing, I think that'll be a nice combination. Add a threat to the flank that the Wolfen are not going on. With the buffs to Logan Grimnar, I'm really looking forward to running Logan Grimnar in a list sometime soon. Actually, the first thing I want to do is put my 9 Thunderwolves on the table. That's what I want to do first. That's probably going to be the bulk of the army's points-wise, but it's just got to be done. It'll probably lose because there's not enough bodies on the table, but I just want to play them. So I painted so many, it's like you want to see them all do something cool, right? Yep, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. But first, got to get in some Orks. I really want to play Gaz, although the next game that we're playing is going to be at like 500 points. And I don't think 500 points is enough to bring out Gaz yet. And I feel like if I pull out Gaz at 500 points, I'm going to be that guy. Like, especially since, you know, for the next one, Freak's going to be playing his first ever game with his Space Wolves. It's like, welcome to the Space Wolves. Mow him over with Gaz. And his Space Wolves, I'm sure, could actually take out Gaz, except for the 4 wounds per phase rule, I think would let him survive long enough to, you know, deals a lot of damage back. Oh, some cool things that have come out lately, guys. Who is getting some of the cool new stuff, like the Gladiator tanks, the ATV. Oh, I'm on the spinny part of the video again. I wish I realized that was going to tank the stream. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have rendered that in. Anyways, who's getting some of the cool new toys that have come out? The Hexmark Destroyer guy, who's got like, you know, 52 shots from his pistols. I'm exaggerating, of course. That thing looks like it's really cool. I've really been thinking about taking an Achilles Land Raider to use as a mobile line of sight for my for my moving up the middle. Nice. Peace, G. I'm really interested. There was like a little snippet of an orc in one of the previews they did of upcoming things. There was like one little snippet in one of their commercials for upcoming trailers, the upcoming models trailer. And I'm curious what the new orc thing is. Just one orc, and it didn't even look like a massive one. But I think it might be something for one of their extra games, like a Blackstone Fortress or something like that, where they could do just 1 or 2 orcs. But if they do a really big orc release, that would be cool. Oh, I got you now. Using the Achilles Land Raider to create a line of sight blocking for your units behind it. I remember doing that in 7th edition a lot. Moving my tank up, turning it sideways, so that way I've got the broad side of the Land Raider, and then moving my troops kind of behind it. I got you, man. That makes sense. Alright, guys, so I want to get y'all's opinion, especially since I got a couple of Space Marines here. I want to do a Murder Fang, but you know me, I can't be normal about stuff. I have to be weird. And it is absolutely, you know, if you look at my Wolf Lord, my Khan on bike, you know, my Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I like to randomly use Forge World parts for my bits and conversions. It's a little bit of a sickness I have, I think. I feel like you shouldn't pay that much for Forge World just to chop and change it. But it's a bit of a sickness I have. So I want to make a Murder Fang. And I don't want the standard box Murder Fang kit. Because I feel like he's more imposing than just a regular box dread. I don't feel like the silhouette of, and I know this is going to sound so vain here, I don't feel like the silhouette of a box dreadnought conveys the ferociousness that Murder Fang is to me. So there's a couple things I want to think about here. I have a spare Redemptor Dread. I'm probably going to put it in my Ultramarines, but that would be a really big and beefy Murder Fang, I think, if I did some conversion. But also, what I'm thinking is I want to take one of the Contemptor Dreads, and the basic one could be a good point to chop and change into a Murder Fang. And the thing is that the fists on a Contemptor Dreadnought, the part where you change out the Redemptor fist, the round parts for the hands on the end, that is the same hand size as the claws for Murder Fang's claws, so I can actually replace the Contemptor fist with Murder Fang's fist. That'll be cool. And I think, you know, you get the pose. You know, the Contemptor Dreads have great posability, and I think I could take that, and if I just did like a knee forward kind of lunging stance, could even do the double claws forward like a Wolverine pose. I think that could be cool. And I think if I use the, and a lot of them are very ornate because the Contemptor Dreadnoughts were very celebrated, very, very prestigious Dreadnoughts, right? Except, I think the World Eaters one has that brutal, insane kind of look that I think would be befitting of a Murder Fang. Of course, file down and sand off the World Eaters logos. But other than that, it's got like the metal studs that look hardcore that could be sticking out. And just overall, I think even, if shaving down some of the World Eaters logo, you could even leave like the teeth there for like a set of jaws emblazoned on Murder Fang. I think that could be cool. I think the World Eaters Contemptor Dreadnought could be a cool Murder Fang. You guys let me know what you think. So those are a couple routes I could go. And then also I've seen a conversion where somebody took Contemptor legs but put the Box Dread torso on it. And the Contemptor legs being longer and sleeker, but the Box Dread has the big squared off shoulders. I don't know, that gave that a better silhouette. Kind of reminded me a little of Optimus Prime there. So anyways, those are some 3 things I'm thinking about. Guys, you let me know what you think. I'm thinking I'm going to lean more towards the Contemptor Dreadnought way of building a Murder Fang. Also, I do have a Venerable Dreadnought from Forge World, the one with the double gold wolf heads on the chest. That one looks cool. And now I was originally thinking about using that for my Murder Fang. But again, then I got kind of caught where the boxy dread, I feel like just didn't, the silhouette of a box dread doesn't quite fit a Murder Fang for me. Alright, Running Bear says, should be able to hide, but hide a bit of my army behind it. Yeah, that sounds cool. Like I said, I did that in 7th edition with the regular Land Raider, so I imagine to be even better with an Achilles, plus the Achilles has that 4-up invul. You're right. Use a Redemptor and add the Shapeway parts to make it a Leviathan. I was just looking at one of those conversion kits today. Like I said, I have a spare Redemptor, so I was probably going to chuck them in my Ultramarines, but I lost... when I was working on my brother Kane's Redemptor Dread, I lost one of the shoulder pads. And so I took one of them from my spare kit and used it on Kane's. And so now my Ultramarines one doesn't have a shoulder pad. And I was like, well, I went, down the rabbit hole. When you start, you go to Shapeways to look for one specific conversion bit. But then you just kind of snowball and... you just start finding all kinds of kits. So I started looking for the shoulder pad for my Redemptor. And then I found like the stylized kits for each of the chapters. And then the kits that you can upgrade them to a Leviathan. And I thought those were amazing. And, I just was looking at that for a while. The spinny spin is going to throw me off again. So I'm going to stop and start that. Alright, and then back to our chat. Add Murder Fang claws and a fur pelt. Very cool. My Space Wolf one, Brother Richard over at the Nerd Life, because like I said, I use that as my big-ass Bjorn from time to time. And he put the True Claw from Bjorn on my Redemptor, and it just looks so badass. And then where I have the plasma and the plasma and the Onslaught Gatling Cannon magnetized, that same magnet also fits a Contemptor Twin Las Cannon there. So I can instantly make him go from, okay, I've got a Onslaught Gatling Cannon Redemptor to a Las Cannon Bjorn. So, although Hellfrost is pretty good now, so I'm thinking I might want to get me a Hellfrost Cannon at some point. Shapeways. The Space Wolf parts Shipway look awesome. Yeah, they've got a ton of cool designs for just about every chapter. It is hard to find shields that fit the white scars on there, though. It's like nobody at Shapeways likes white scars. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, they got tons of cool Space Wolf stuff. The Sunday preview last week, if anybody saw, were a bunch of cool stuff like Necrons. the Ophidian destroyers, which just look like I I would say mostly cooler wraiths, except I kind of like the insect-like canoptic head from the current wraiths. If I could stick one of those bug heads from the canoptic wraiths onto the Ophidian destroyers, I think they'd look 10 times cooler. Some of those other kits, though, like the terrain/fortification kit for the Necrons looks cool. The new monolith looks cool. That's some pretty cool stuff coming out. And of course, the Void Dragon looks so badass. Is it sad that even though it's a Necron model, because of the whole story about the Void Dragon and the Dragon of Mars, I really want a Void Dragon, not because I like Necrons, but for my ad mech. I can't play them with my ad mech, but it would just be cool to have lore-wise. What? Oh my god. I've got the queen of Ork kit bashers in the chat, Roxy the Riveter. Good evening, Roxy. Gotta say before we go on, I am a massive fan of that Ork Warcopter, Chinork Warcopter you did from scratch build. That looked amazing. Holy crap. In fact, I was telling Brack, I wish they sold your Warcopter as a kit, because I would buy it in a heartbeat. Like, you should definitely be sculpting or modeling for GW. Big fan. I'm getting like, all fanboy here in the chat. I'm gonna try and tone that down. So, guys, I'm really excited about all the cool stuff coming out. But one of the things I showed at the Sunday preview was an Ork bomber for the Mega Bomber for Aeronautica Imperialis. Again, I'm brand new to Orks. This is the first bit of my Ork army. But do they don't make a Mega Bomber for 40k, right? I wonder if this is like a kit or something we could see in the future. That would be amazing. That would be really awesome. I love the design. I've always loved those old school, like World War II planes or whatever that have the twin fins, twin engines, that kind of deal. And so that Mega Bomber just looks super cool to me. One of the things I really find so therapeutic about painting orcs is I've never tried to make something look like a rusty piece of junk before. I'm just really pleased with the way that came out. Maybe add in a part from a Tau battle suit in its claws being torn apart. Okay. Speaking of conversions, there is a new buggy, and you guys may have seen me post about it in the Wargamers Unification group. Good night, Steve, my man. Thank you so much for dropping in. But you may have seen me ask about it in the Wargamers Unification group. There's a buggy coming out from Ramshackle Games. It looks amazing. It looks like one of the Borderlands buggies, except with orcs in it. And I just think it looks amazing. And I definitely want to use it. And I was looking at the different things it could be. And I really feel like none of them really call out to me as something I really want. Except I do want the scrapjet, but I want the actual model for the scrapjet because it just looks super cool. But I think I want to use that Ramshackle Games buggy as a shock jump dragster. It looks like it could get up to 88 miles an hour, I think it could be, could fit the part. I'll do a size comparison and see how it works out. But I just really want to use it for that really Borderlands aesthetic. And, if the guys are cool with it, and a lot of the guys I play with, just friendly local games, I'm pretty sure they'll be cool with it. I'll end up using that as maybe my shock jump dragster. That'll be cool. I don't actually have a spot in my list for it, but because it looks cool, I'll fit it in at some point. And it's always good to have extra options, you know? So that is going to be maybe an Orktober grab or score for me for sure. Ah, gonna design your own buggies. That's gonna be cool. Well, I mean, if they come out even half as good as your Warcopter, for sure, you know that's gonna be. Those are gonna be some cool buggies. So, I don't know if you plan on sharing them with the community, selling them, Patreoning. Is that a verb? It's a verb now. Patreoning them or whatever. But I'm sure you've got a ton of people who would be happy to buy your stuff because you definitely got that orc aesthetic down. That'd be cool for me, getting a Roxy Derivator original. Vroom, vroom, mother trucker. That'll be cool. I think the Scrap Jet has been my favorite since launch, since the whole Speed Freaks launch, and then the Shock Jump Dragster has been my next favorite. The Boomdacker Snazwagon and the Ruck Truck Squig Bug thing. I'm good with words. Yeah, those are cool. Just not quite my style or preference. But I think they look pretty cool. But those are definitely two I want to get. I want to get me a Scrap Jet. And of course, I've seen a lot of the lists. I see that those things really need to be run in threes. But I just don't want to have to tailor my whole list to them. I like playing Goths. I want to have a lot of hitty things, which I think the Scrap Jet could do pretty well. Especially if I take the custom job on them and run 3 of those. Those could definitely be cool, especially with some Goth exploding 6s. That might be something I look at in the future. And really, I didn't even have the idea of wanting a shock jump other than, thinking it looks cool until I saw the one from Ramshackle. And then I just had to have one. Like, oh, I'm doing this now. Surprisingly, because I know the older an orc gets, the darker its skin is supposed to be. My bright, vibrant skin tone has actually been pretty well received. I'm pretty pleased with that. And like I said, I think it really just offsets the dark color scheme of the Goths pretty nicely. I've got so many more of these Foxbox miniatures, grots and goblins I need to finish painting up. I've got them sitting on a couple of painting sticks right now. Those would be something I want to crank out soon. Why? I don't know. I don't have any lists that use grots currently, but I don't know. They just seem fun to paint. And it's not like they take a ton of time to paint up. They're very low surface area. I really wish I could field entire squads of squigs, just because I really loved painting these guys. The dark purple, dry brush white, and then a translucent layer of Vallejo floral pink over it just really made everything pop so well. I want to paint up like 20 more of these things just because they look cool. Now, what do you guys think about this? I think these look cute on these little guys. But what if I painted up like a great big armored Squigoth, like the ones from Cromlech on their Orktober release? This did that in the really vibrant purples and pinks too. What did you guys think about that? You guys think I could pull it off? Dark armor, dark and metal, oily metal armor on the back of the Squigoth, and then all the fleshy, scaly parts, bright purples and pinks. I think I'd pull it off. Uh-oh. I've got the white circle of death again. Please don't disconnect me. Please don't disconnect me. YouTube, what are you doing? There he goes. Alright, the stream is back, I think. Pull it off. Alright. Challenge accepted. Now, the Squigoth Cromlech has, they're not getting rid of that one at the end of Orktober, are they? That's not like a limited edition deal. I hope not. Because I don't have the funds this Orktober, but it's something I really want to do. Just plop a giant pink Squigoth on the tail, loaded up with tank busters. My clan color is pink. If I can get that to work, you could totally make it work. Nice. Nice. You know, it was seeing it on Emma's Orks from Dice and Demons. You know, she also has the vibrant colors like the bubblegum blue and pink. You know, seeing that on her work definitely has made me want to incorporate more vibrant colors into my orc stuff. And so getting to do that with these squigs here was a real pleasure. So I don't know how I think I've seen a lot of your kit bashes. I don't think I've seen the I don't think I've seen your pink clan color. I'm gonna have to go back into the orc group and check it out. That'll be cool. The Bubblegum Boys. Yeah, like I said, I really love Emma's, so I've definitely got to check yours out for sure. Now, I love this War Chanter here as my weird boy. I'm not a big fan of the 40k design, and the Cromlech's new weird board looks pretty cool. But other than that, like, in general, I really like this one and the other caster from Age of Sigmar as my weird boys. But you guys can see here, right here actually, is a good spot to see. I'm really into third-party minis. If you guys know of any other third parties that would make great weird boys, oh sweet, for sure. I will definitely hit you up on that. If you guys know of any other third parties with really cool looking orcs, just let me know. I know Gear Guts is another really popular one. I want to get some of their stuff at some point. But absolutely, like third parties and stuff like that, I just really, really like. This, oh yes, this, that War Boss lady was a gift from a friend of mine over at the game Craft Dragon. And she is absolutely amazing. They did a phenomenal job on her. Story behind that though is I went into their Discord one day and I had mentioned, because one of my favorite orcs is Gamora, Gamora, right, from the Warcraft movie, or Garona from the Warcraft movie. And I was like, man, why don't they make any sexy orc miniatures, you know, like her from the Warcraft movie? And I was just complaining about it in Discord. I'm like, man, there are so many third-party stuff of other, you know, sexy variations of other miniatures. Even some of the Primarchs, you know, you can find miniatures of the Primarchs even being made into a sexy form, right? And I'm like, why don't they have any sexy orcs? And so, apparently, Big D and Lady Dragon from the Gamecraft Dragon, they found this particular war boss, printed her up, painted her for me, and sent her my way. And they're like, hey, we found this sexy orc, which I'm extremely thankful for. You need a Roxy war boss stat. That would be super cool. Hey, you know, you, anyways, I've seen, since they did the war bosses of the, you know, Steve-O and, the others, since they did, models of, them, I'm sure they could, another influential orc, person like yourself, they could probably get a Roxy war boss all hooked up for you. Got to hook you up with a designer. Methos' browser history is really weird, just saying. I think I still have, because your Chrome browser can just have open browsers. I'm pretty sure I still have that search of sexy orcs, or the one from Warcraft at least, still saved, like an open an open search right now. Yep, right there in my browser history. Open browser, sexy orcs. Hey man, you can't kink shame me if I'm out in the open. And I have so many war bosses right now. I've got this sexy boss lady. I've got 2 of the Black Reach war bosses with the squig on the bottom and the double shotguns or whatever on the back. I have another third-party one here. And even though I have all those, not that I need another... Oh, plus I've got the war boss on bike. So I don't need another war boss. But man, I would really, really love one to use as myself. They have a miniature of Thrall out with the big hammer, and I'm like, oh, I want that. I want that as a war boss. Of course, it's not made for this game, and I think the scale is out. It's like too big to be a war boss here. But your FBI agents is like, we don't have to worry about this guy, but Jesus, he needs help. Yep. Any government agents looking at my search history, it's probably got me marked as a weird one. That's all right. It's all gravy, baby. But yeah, I think a Thrall boss. And it's funny because I don't even normally like hair on orcs. You'll notice in all of these pictures, almost none of them have the top knot they usually come with from GW. I actually cut that off and shave it down. I don't normally like hair on my orcs, except on the boss lady, of course. However, I don't know, I think one of Thrall would just be really cool. I just need to get Google to have me pop up whenever you search sexy war boss. You're right. Sexy orcs, constant search for sure. We just, it's funny. I need like some Raging Heroes level of full range of sexy orcs. They make sexy everything else. Just need a full Raging Heroes selection. All right, so while I got you here, then pick your brain a little bit, Roxy. So we was mentioning I was at Big Mech Dan Skull's live stream earlier this week, and he was talking about how in the stories orcs are big and hardy and run through a hailfire of bullets to crump some umis, and like they just put tons and tons of shots into these orcs and they don't go down. However, on the tabletop, the second you look at an orc boy, they just fall apart. It's like, they looked at my orc boy squad wrong, and they just pull. You should just go ahead and start pulling your squads. And of course, there's a lot of ways to make them more survivable. The custom force field, the pain boys, and Big Mech was talking about how he thinks if boys went to a toughness 5, that would fix a lot of the problems with them. I think they're okay, but I think one of my problems is that they're just not killy enough. You're like, oh, I have a squad of boys that go and they get a ridiculous 65 attacks and they get in 2 damage. And I was thinking, Space Marines, they get to take a special weapon for every 5 Space Marines. it would be great instead of having just one knob. If you could get a knob that would give you that extra strength, that extra wound, and of course you get the special weapons on the knobs. If you could get a knob for every 10 boys, so like 3 in a 30-man squad, I think that would be amazing. Because that's what everybody does anyways, right? They run a squad of 30 boys or whatever up to a target. The attacks from the boys are almost negligent. What everybody's really relying on is the damage coming from the knobs in most cases. I agree with the Toughness 5 boys, but I really feel like that extra oomph from getting, like I said, I would say a knob for every 10 boys would be amazing. And you get that extra bang for your buck. Because, man, just so many times, like I was watching Tabletop Titans, and they brought 120 boys, plus green tided ones, so 150 boys, and they were tabled by turn 4. It was ridiculous. It was that was a lot of bodies just pulled off. So the number of bodies in a horde army really don't offer the same kind of staying power it used to. So I think both of these tweaks are changing. Oh, I just realized that the spinny spin was crashing my stream again. Let's not do that. That's the official technical YouTube term, by the way, for a turntable is a spinny spin. Little known fact. But yeah, I thought, it's just a flood of boys doesn't do the damage it used to. I don't feel like. So I really feel like that would really help. And I think Big Mech's point of Toughness 5 boys would be great. 3 knobs with claws, swarmed by boys, would definitely get in and tear stuff up. Yeah, now those would crack some targets for sure. For sure. And then I feel like that'll offer a little staying power because, of course, as things die off, you're going to pull the boys out from around the knobs and keep the knobs going. And so that damage is going to last longer, too. So I feel like that would improve the staying power and, of course, do more damage. So, we are going to call a little early tonight, guys. Here in about the next 10 minutes. We'll call it at right around 10 o'clock. A couple of things I want to note is on Monday, so just a couple of short days from now, I will have out a showcase for Gazgul. He'll get his own showcase out. That's going to be fun. Then I will have my review / showcase of Spellcrow Commandos. What I think of their resin and their kit, what I think of their selection, and what they look like when you take the time to treat them nice and paint them up nice. Or at least, in my standard anyway. So I know plenty of people can do it better, but what happens when, when your Wolf Brother puts some paint down on some Spellcrow Commandos and how they look, they'll get their showcase after that. And then I'm going to have a couple of Ork tutorials out coming up the week after next. So how I do my Ork voice or my Ork skin tones for this vibrant green that I've got going on here, and how I do my rusty Ork metal effects. Oh, exactly. I think the Commandos from RTLW is amazing. And actually, I was going to go with the RTLW Commandos, but one of the things I have to give mad props to Spellcrow is I had ordered something else completely unrelated to Orks from them. I think it was like some missile launchers from for my Space Wolves. And they chucked in a whole bag. I think I ordered like 2 things from them. A couple shoulder pads and a couple of missile launchers, and that was it. And they chucked in a whole bag. That was like way more bits than I actually paid for in extra bits, which included one whole Ork Commando. And I was like, wait a minute. And I put them together, and I'm like, I actually like the way this looks. And when I painted them up, I was like, that's it. The freebies bag convinced me. Instead of going to RTLW for my Commandos, I was sold on those the Ork Commandos from Spellcrow right then and there. So the freebies bag, it was like a, it was like they always joke about with the drug dealers. That first hit was free, and then I was hooked. And do I need more than 10 Commandos in my Ork list? Probably not, but because I really love the way these Commandos came out, from Spellcrow, I'm probably going to want to get more in the future. And it's like, they have so many different variations on some of the some of the same things. And so, maybe I'll do up the next set of commandos with some of their flintlock pistols. That'll be cool. Just that you can get them out different ways and just add so many variations. Yeah, the freebies bag for sure. So that'll be a review and showcase coming out next week. Somewhere, the Gaz is going to be the first part of the week, Monday, more than likely Monday, and then somewhere towards the end of the week, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, we'll have out the Spellcrow review of their commandos. Really, really stoked. They need all. You need all the commandos. You right. I have never not enjoyed taking the commandos either. So like, even though I play Goths and Goths are not the sneakiest, man, having them turn up at the same time as like your other threats make it up the field. Like even a truck, you drive up turn 1, but they don't get out till turn 2. Having that multiple threats show up at the same time, you just pop up, surprise, commandos. And that really helps with threat overload. And they always get in there and crump some stuff, especially 2 more points for a better boy. You're right. They almost don't need a transport because you're sneaking them around. And then I get in there with, my knob's got a power claw or whatever, or some saws, and they sneak their way over and tear some stuff up. Oh man, if they made them troops for sure. For sure. I'm Meandering Shade. Good to see you, my friend. Awesome greenskins. Thank you very much. That baby girl should be coming home sometime soon, right? I saw the good news in the chat yesterday. Yes, I definitely agree. They made them troops, it'd be game over for sure. Because then I would honestly, what they were trying to stop with the Space Marines, being the compulsory troop choices all throughout 8th edition. I would totally do the same if commandos were troop choices. Just flood my troop choices with commandos. Terrain on the boards is a really good factor too. You're getting that extra save. I mean, in most cases. Now, the number one person I play against, my brother, who plays Imperial Fists, and so I've forgotten most games what a cover save is or what it looks like. So I never actually get that ability on my commandos, but the throat slitters and them getting to do the extra damage when they attack something in terrain, that I get to use almost all the time. Because my brother will put his Hell Blasters or Scouts up on a rooftop somewhere or in terrain, in cover. And so it's hard to shoot them because they've got the 2-up save in cover. But then when I get my commandos over there and they're getting that, extra damage in from the Throat Slitters ability. Oh, it's so nice. Very nice, very nice. Congrats again, Meandering Shade. Absolutely. So commandos have become one of my favorite things, and it's oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that right in y'all's ear. Now the crazy thing is that I knew that them popping up out of stealth was going to be good. But with the here we go rule and getting to re-roll one or both of the charge dice all the time, it makes that 9-inch charge for the commando so much more reliable. Don't get me wrong, I've still failed it before. But it makes planning for it so much easier. And of course, it is devastating when you think you're going to get it and you don't. But still, that re-roll is nice. It absolutely is. And I another unit. Oh, my spinny spin is crashing things again. There we go. There we go. Okay. But another unit that really surprised me. Oh yeah, my connection does not seem to be able to handle that turntable. Another thing that really surprised me is I honestly thought that Defcopters were going to be better at damage than they are. I think I may have done damage with them one time. I've only played 3 games with them, but they almost never hit or wound. They've not been useful for me damage wise, but they have been fantastic objective grabbers. And so just having them fly off and stay behind cover and camp on objectives, they've actually done me real well. So I've been making sure to take at least 2 Defcopters in every game just for grabbing objectives. Now, the second somebody looks at them, they die. But my usual MO is to just threat overload. Turn 1, I'll put my Defcopters behind line of sight cover. Turn 2, use their great movement to camp on some objectives. And then starting turn 2, start my threat overload with trucks or battle wagons, boys, commandos, all tying up stuff in combat, so nothing's really got the opportunity to shoot at my Defcopters. So that has been a very on the cool MVP, an unexpected MVP where they just kept scoring me points. They've been helping me max out my objective scoring in almost all my games. So definitely gonna have to check that out in the future. I've got 3 more now because they don't. I'm playing Goths now. If I had the rerolls like Bad Moons or Death Skulls, they'd probably do more damage with those missiles. However, for playing Goths, I'm not sure I'm motivated to paint up the other 3 just yet because they're great at objective camping, but man, they don't do a lot else. Only this channel can go from throat slitters to spinny spins in the span of seconds and be completely normal. You're right. Although, the fact that I haven't worked Chippendales into the conversation, that's the abnormal part. It's so normal for our channel. We talk about the throat slitters and then the spinny spins, and then we talk about the time that that such and such happened when Freak and I were working at Chippendales. It's all part of the channel. Goths, more like goofs. I like my Goths. I get so excited when I roll my attack dice and I see those exploding 6s. I don't know why. It's just it invokes a I don't know. It's a boyish sense of joy when I see those exploding 6s, and I'm like, I get more attacks. Is that a wolf? Oh man! All right, so who are your pink boys? What clan do you usually run your pink boys as? Now I'm curious. I know the most popular ones are Bad Moons and Death Skulls. What does Roxy the Riveter run? It's funny because I know I've been blown away by seeing your builds before, and I just can't place it. Anything, okay. Hey, that's the perks of running a custom chapter, right? Or a custom clan, is you can play whatever you're feeling that day. Awesome. Pink is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. That's fair. And that just let you play whatever strikes your fancy at the time. I got you. All right, fam. Well, I am out of things to talk about for the evening. And normally I would spend my time, the end of the evening, of course, showing you guys some amazing art of the week for our show. I don't have that capability tonight. Like I said, you guys are just kind of really seeing my army on loop because that's really all my signal can handle right at the minute. Normally, of course, you guys know we do the full visual camera on, live chat. We do art of the week. We don't have all that stuff tonight, so we are going to call it a little short tonight. But I'm really stoked, and like I said, you guys have a ton more Orktober content coming up soon. I'm really stoked that I've been working out, and I've really enjoyed the extra orc chat tonight. Shout out to Roxy the Riveter. Check her out for some amazing orc content, and you can also check out where Brack the Warboss has done a community showcase on Chinork Warcopters and some scratch builds for that. And the absolutely clear winner, wish I could buy the kit myself, Roxy the Riveter. Check her work out. Very, very cool. Alright guys, so be sure to be tuned into our upcoming Orktober content. On top of the Orktober stuff, also got a battle report from 40K and Barbecue with Brother Oni that I need to edit up and put out on the channel. That's going to be my scars. That won't be Ork related, but that'll be in addition to the upcoming Ork videos you're going to get. So that's just more cool stuff coming. And then, hopefully, things will be back to normal next week, and we'll catch you guys for the full show with our beautiful faces, with all the Chippendales, bow tie wearing glory, and of course including our usual things like Art of the Week. We'll be back to entertain you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below, especially if you're watching from the archives, to feel free to be part of any of these ridiculous orky conversations. And of course, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, or any of the channels listed below in our chilling network, then Freakalicious and I would love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.